Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be looking at some bar graphs and double bar graphs and answering some questions based on those graphs. So let's get right into it for the first problem. Here we have some students compared how many clubs they belong to. So the title of our graph here is clubs. On the x-axis on the bottom, that tells us the number of clubs they're involved in. And then on the y-axis, the name of the students that were giving the information. Okay, so our question is, how many more clubs does Cole belong to than Abby? So we're going to take a look at the orange bar here, and the orange bar ends at 10. And we want to compare with Abby here. Her bar, the green bar, ends at 9. That looks like a 19. It should be a 9 there. So how many more clubs? Cole belongs to one more club compared to Abby. All right, on to the next question. All right, so our bars are now going vertically as opposed to horizontally in the first question that we looked at. So here we have some pizza restaurants that are comparing their pizza sales. So the title is Pizza Slices Sold. On the x-axis here, we have the names of the restaurants. And on the y-axis, we have the number of slices sold. So our question, how many pizza slices did Pizzeria Italiano sell? Here is Pizzeria Italiano, that's the purple bar there. And we have what's called a line break here, which means our number line does not go consistently from 0 all the way up to 501. We're missing all those numbers. So we're not looking at 1 for the first bar, 2 for the second bar. It's actually 501 and 502. So that purple bar ends at 502. That means they sold 502 slices. All right, our next question here. City worker researched the earnings of different companies. Our companies are along the x-axis and their earnings are along the y-axis. Again, we have this break line here to show we're missing all those numbers going from 0 to 66,500. So our graph is starting right away at 66,515. So we want to know how much money did Zenson and Zedford and Addison attorneys earn combined. So Addison attorneys would be 66,540, and Zenson and Zedford, if I go all the way across here in this line, the one right below it, so we're going to add those two together. And it should be $133,085. You can use your calculator to double check that. I just did that with mental math. And I see I did some mental math incorrectly. 4 plus 3 is 7 here. So it should be $75 instead of $85. All right, on to the next question. Here are our double bar graphs. All of the pink bars represent the number of lions. All the orange represent the number of leopards. So just some background information on this graph. A biologist interested in the sleeping patterns of felines in captivity recorded the number of felines in each zoo. So we have the number of zoos along the x-axis and the number of felines in the y-axis. We want to know how many more lions than leopards does the central zoo have. So that means we're only going to be looking at these two bars right here. And we want to find what's the difference between the pink bar and the orange bar, the lions versus the leopards. So for our lions, it's 18, and for the leopards, it's 8. So the difference between those is 10. So there are 10 more lions than leopards. All right, for our next one here, Scarlett, a chemist, has a table of the melting points and boiling points of various elements. So our elements, again, are on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, the melting and boiling point, the temperature in degrees Celsius. So the blue represents the boiling point for each of the elements, and the pink represents the melting point for each of the elements. So which has a higher melting point, silver or cobalt? So we're looking here at the pink bar for silver and the pink bar for cobalt. So the one that has the higher melting point of 1500 is cobalt. All right, next question. Evan is a real estate agent who decided to track down information about the cost of various rental options throughout the United States. So we have the cities down here on the x-axis, and we have the rental cost along the y-axis. So our question, in Birmingham, how much does a 3-bedroom apartment cost? How much more, does a 3-bedroom apartment cost compared to the 2-bedroom apartment? So we're going to be looking at these two right here. The 3-bedroom, the green bar is higher than the 2-bedroom, the orange bar. There's our key on the side here. We want to know how much more it is. Well, the green bar is $800 and the orange bar is at $700. So how much more is it? It's $100 more. All right, so I'm going to ask you to give the IXL problems a try. If you have questions, you can join me on the daily call. Otherwise, you could type your questions in on Google Classroom. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye-bye.